How do you like the four edge set so far? Kind of the pressure that's getting, how effective that group's been.
When you mean four edge set?
When Coach Dicker and then they send out the four edge rushers on passing downs, has that looked pretty effective in your eyes?
Yeah, I think it's a good personnel plan. The real success story of that is the early down success, so we can get into some of those packages.
And how key will that be, the early down stuff against Oregon State? I know that they get a lot of third and shorts.
And they are very productive on first down, so that's definitely one of the battles going into this game. They know who they are. They're good at what they do. I think you go in every game trying to be successful on the early downs, but that's when, with the way they're running the ball, it's definitely something that's focused on.
And I'm just wondering about Stribling, back-to-back weeks touchdown. From high school to Pac-12 level, is it just one of those things where he's kind of still was adapting to that physicality and that level of play, and he's starting to hit his stride and figure it out a little bit more now?
I'm sure there's some of that to it, but he's more physical than we thought when he got here. So I think he was more physically ready to play, and he's got a real consistent passion to do things the right way. And he got an opportunity to make a couple plays. I think he wish he could have had that other one back too.
Last year against Oregon State was your best game, probably your team's best game of the season. And obviously you had some success against them at Hawaii as well. What do you think has made you successful against the Beavers?
Well, I think last year's kind of it was a tough deal for everybody. We made some plays down the field. Travell had a couple big catches. I don't think last year's fair to judge on anybody because everyone was dealing with the COVID stuff. Heck of a game we had versus them in Hawaii 2 years ago. I think that was in the early stages of Coach Smith's kind of building his program, and he deserves a ton of credit for staying consistent. Staff, philosophy, identity. I think they've done they look different. They look like a different football team. Body type wise, I think they've started to fill out. They look like they're more physical than maybe they were a year ago. But they're a challenge on all three sides of the ball, and I think that's a good coach when you can be aggressive and effective on all three sides of the ball. They deserve some credit and some respect.
What do you think they've improved the most upon since you started playing them a few years ago at Hawaii?
I've always been impressed with their situational awareness. I think they prepare for all situations. They look very seamless when those situations arise. I remember they had a really good end-of-game play when we played them when we were at Hawaii. I thought it wasn't like just some lateral play. They had it all designed out, and I think they prepare for stuff like that. They're very good, and that carries over to red zone, third down. But I think the biggest thing is they've really committed to their identity of who they are. I think their O-line's playing even better. When you look at their loss at Purdue, I think after that, they really kind of zeroed in and decided to be who they were, and then they've just gotten better and better at it. They work together really well. There's a lot of unselfishness from that team. There's a lot of big body types at tight ends or wide receivers that take pride in doing their job that doesn't always involve them getting the ball. And I think their body language and how they play is a big reason why they're winning football games.
Can you talk about where the offensive line rotation sort of came from? When did you start deciding that maybe we want to go this way? Or was that early in the season? Or
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I have an exact date for you, but mainly because Maake was making so much improvement. Can help at multiple places, keep guys fresher. Kind of all those things kind of went into it.
And, is Brian still rotating at left guard, or what was some of the personnel there? Is Connor kind of stuck at center right now, you think, or is there still a little bit of mixing there?
There's a little mixing still going on. Brian can play center and guard. Connor can play center and tackle. Make can play guard and tackle. So there's a lot of mixing there.
Coach, we've seen, if I'm not mistaken, Lincoln Victor was a quarterback
Yeah.
in high school, and we've seen him
A good one.
utilize state champion.
There you go. You did your
and
homework.
You've worked
All
with
right.
him. What's that?
You did your homework. I like it.
Well, we went to the same high school.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
that's
but
that's
worked
easy
with him-
homework.
It's easier. What you've used him as sort of that Swiss Army knife here this season. What have you seen with him that allows you to, run with him, receive the ball and then pass the ball now?
I don't know how many more throws he'll get as a quarterback, but he does have a skill set. His biggest quality is how important it is to him, how competitive he is. He always is trying to do things the right way. If you see him practice, you see him play, you just can feel the importance. And he's had that. He didn't develop that here. He didn't develop that in Hawaii. He developed that sometime in his life because of you're not the type of leader and get the type of accolades he got in high school without some of those qualities. And that was unanimous from everyone we spoke to, whether it was his high school coach, people around the region. He earned respect by the way he played and being consistent.
Is there an emphasis on trying to kind of get the ball out quick with how much Oregon State likes to bring pressure and how much they like to blitz, just so just in a way to counter that kind of pressure?
We usually go in with that mindset, getting the ball out of our hand quickly, getting the ball in the hands of those guys. There is an element of pressure with them, but I think it's calculated, and I think that it's not chaotic. But I think we will always go in with the idea if we can get the ball out quick, we want to.
Do you, without tipping your hand too much, is there extra wrinkles you add against a team that likes to pressure that much, or do you kind of just stay par for the course with that?
I think that's more. Well, there are some wrinkles, I think, elements that you can add, but is your team ready for it? Are you going to do it effectively? Are you going to be clean with executing it? Is kind of more of the discussion probably.
Can you talk about kind of what you've seen from Dion these last couple games? Especially with Max being a little banged up this past week. It seems that he's really taken on a big role in the offense.
Well, he had a big role last year, and I think he excelled in it. I think he's very hard to tackle. I think he's a tough runner. He's really good in pass pro. He's really a complete back, and it almost makes you think about, should we put both of them back there sometime? So, but he's very. The team trusts him very much because of his history last year and what he's done this year. But I think he's turning some heads too from the scoutings from the next level. People are noticing him.
And then we've seen Willie Taylor really come on strong after an injury last year.
Yeah.
Had a sack Saturday. Even saw him drop into coverage. What have you seen kind of since you got here with his progression?
Physical growth. I think he's grown as a young man. I think there was a little rust early on, and we're seeing him playing his best football recently. I would agree with that.
Kind of the same question with Brennan Jackson. He just got the Pac-12 Defensive Lineman of the Week award. What does he bring to your defense? Seems like he's a real high character.
He's high character. He's high energy. He's high consistency. That sack coming out of halftime was pretty awesome. As far as keeping the momentum in our favor. But he's a great pass rusher. He's I don't know how many degrees he'll get by the time he's done with here because of how ahead he is in school. But who Brennan is what makes him a great player. I think he brings all of those personal qualities to the field as a teammate, and his effect. Yes, he's made some plays. loves the weight room, loves all the right things. But I think him and RJ especially, what they've done to cultivate the young edge group is probably one of their unseen accomplishments, and that's in guidance from Coach Coop. It's a real, they take a real pride in helping those young guys get ready to play. And that's where I think you see a guy like Edson, who has great qualities also, but he was brought in, he was absorbed in, and I think that allowed him to thrive even at a quicker level. We'll never be able to judge it, but that's what I believe.